Hi, in my last video I had walked you through how to fill the application for a dependent spouse for Poland visa application. In this video I will drive you through how to fill application for a dependent minor for Poland visa application. Hi, welcome to Teach Me K channel. If you are watching my video for the first time, please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated with my videos. Also don't forget to like and share this video. So let's get started in understanding how to write or fill up the application form for a dependent minor for Poland visa application. What you are seeing on my screen right now is the application form for a Poland visa application for a minor. Again, for your easier understanding, I have made the fonts in red for the contents that you need to fill up in your application form for your dependent minor. Before starting to fill up the application form for your dependent minor, please keep the passport of your dependent minor handy so that the details required to fill up the application form would be easier. So let's start with the first question, which asks on the surname. Please enter your last name as per the passport here for your dependent minor. And going to the second question, which is surname at birth, please mention the last name of your dependent minor here. And going to the third question, which is the first name, enter the first name of your dependent minor. So going to the fourth question, date of birth, enter the date of birth of your dependent minor in the form of dd-mm-YYYY. And going to fifth question, which is place of birth, enter the place of birth as mentioned in the passport. And going to sixth question, country of birth, mention India. And going to seventh question, current nationality would be Indian. And another sub question under seventh question is nationality at birth if different. If there is a different nationality, so please mention that nationality here. If the nationality is Indian, so please mark it as not applicable. And going to the question number 8, please mention the appropriate gender for your dependent minor. And going to ninth question, marital status, please mark it as single. And going to 10th question, please mark it as not applicable. Similarly, for 11th question, which asks on national identity number, please mark it as not applicable. Going to 12th question, which asks for type of travel document, please mark it as ordinary passport. And going to 13th question, which is series and number of travel document, please mention your passport number here. And going to 14th question, which is date of issue, please mention your date of issue when your passport has been issued in the form of dd-mm-YYYY. And 15th question, which asks for valid until, please mention your passport validity in the form of dd-mm-YYYY. And going to 16th question, which is actually issued by, it is actually hidden up here and the row is hidden here in the form. Please mention your place of issue of your passport here. And going to 17th question, which is applicant's home address and email address, please mention the address as captured in the passport of your dependent minor. And email ID, you could mention your personal email address here. And similarly, the telephone number, you could give the telephone number of the father or the mother here. And going to 18th question, if it asks for a residence in a country other than the current country of the current nationality, so please mark it as no if your current nationality is Indian. And going to 19th question, which asks on current occupation, please mark it as no occupation. So going to 20th question, which is on the name, address and telephone number of the employer, please mark it as not applicable. So now going to 21st question, which is on main purpose of the journey. So in all the options mentioned here, mark as other, and you could write it as dependent. So going to 22nd question, which is member state of destination, which is already filled up here as Poland. You need not worry about anything there. And going to another question where member state of the first entry. So since my first entry to Poland would be Warsaw, so I have marked it as Warsaw, Poland here. So similarly, whichever would be your first entry when you step into Poland, so please mention the same state or the member state of the first entry here. And going to 24th question, number of entries requested, please mark it as multiple entries. And going to 25th question, where it is duration of intended stay of transit, indicate number of days. So considering my visa to be 1 year, so I'm mentioning here it as 365 days. And going to 26th and 27th question, which is specifically for Schengen visas. So if you would have already stayed in the Schengen countries in the past 5 years, please mark them as appropriately yes. Or if you are not stayed during the past 5 years in any of the Schengen countries, you can mark it as no. And going to 29th question, which is intended date of arrival to the Republic of Poland. So please mention here your date of travel to Poland. So that should be the start date of your arrival to the Poland location, which is your travel date. Please mention it in the format of DD-MMM-YYYY. And similarly, going to 30th question, which is intended date of departure from the Republic of Poland, it should be considering your 365 days, which is the intended stay as in question 25. So please mention here the 365th date in the format of DD-MMM-YYYY. And going to 31st question, which should be surname and the first name of the inviting person. So since me as the father of my dependent minor, where I am going on a work permit to Poland, so I need to mention here the first name being the primary applicant in the dependent minor's visa application form in the question number 31. So similarly, the sub question of 31, which is address and email address of the inviting person. So I have mentioned here as the Poland office address, which should be the primary applicant's address here. And similarly, the email ID should be the official email ID of the primary applicant. And another sub question, telephone and telefax, please mention the Poland office address phone number here. And going to 32nd question, which is name and address of the inviting company or organization, please mark it as not applicable because it is a dependent minor who would be accompanying with the primary applicant. And similarly, the telephone and telefax of the company or organization, please mark it as not applicable. And also the surname, first name, business address, so please mark it as not applicable. So going to 33rd question, which is cost of traveling and living during the applicant's stay is covered. So in the second column, please see the options that I have marked here. I have marked the option as by a sponsor. So wherein as a primary applicant being the father of my dependent minor, I have mentioned it as first name and last name of mine. Please mention the way I have written here. And also you need to check the options referred to in the field 31 and 32. And since all the expenses of my dependent minor would be covered by me as a sponsor, so I need to mark here as all expenses covered during the stay. And also I have marked other, where I have mentioned as first name and last name being a father as a salary option here. And going to 34th, 35, 36 questions, So these are not applicable because this is specifically of the data which is sought if any of our family member would be staying in EU or any other locations in EU. So these are not applicable for me. So from questions 34, 35 and 36, I've marked it as NA. And going to 37th question, which is place and date. Please mention the place name where you are submitting your visa application. Similarly, the date should be mentioned in the format of DD-MMM-YYYY. The date where and when you are submitting your visa application should be captured here. And at the last page or the last section of your application form, again it is seeking for place and date. Please mention the place name where you are submitting your visa application, and also the date in the format of DD-MMM-YYYY, the date when you are submitting your visa application. So this is how you would be able to fill up the application form for your dependent minor. I hope this video is informative for you, which may help in filling up the application for your dependent minor for Poland visa application. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos like these. Thank you. Bye-bye.